artificial thing. So like when I left to come here, to drive here, in like a shirt. And I was like,
Just
really,
turn up suit and
I was
booted.
really conscious about what I was wearing, and then I thought, well, I'm just about to sit and just have a chat.
Well, literally, like, yeah. I mean, I can't remember who. Noah brought snacks, which was cute.
Do you know what? I was going to bring snacks.
Which is like, you can do.
I thought it'd be really rustly.
Yeah, I've got water. Like, I bring water, but even then, you've got to kind of consciously, like, you sip the water.
Yeah, hold the mic away.
And you kind of dry your mouth out a bit, because then you'll be...
Yeah.
And then
It's
I have to
like
go
ASMR,
and post
isn't
and
it?
try and get rid of that, as much of that as I can.
Yeah. I feel like I'm peaking a bit. Am I talking too loud?
No, so actually, and this is so weird where I'm still trying to understand how the levels look, and if I know, we both we're hitting like the right area.
The right area, okay.
But and like the one thing I worry about, and because Callum's voice was so deep, I was worried he was hitting the threshold a lot. So I light up green, and then Callum would be like green, 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 orange, orange, and I'd be like, oh
yeah.
god, that's not good.
Because it's that sub bass.
Because he's very basic, but you're luckily like a little high like I am, so
Couple tenors right here.
yeah, exactly.
Couple high voice. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I hopefully I'm so weird how conscious of everything I'm doing.
Oh, it's
Hopefully I'm gonna zone out of that the more.
yeah, it's not. You know, well, you did. I remember the first episode of the podcast. I was like super hyper aware of everything I was doing.
Yeah.
And then, like, luckily, because that's why I picked to do it with like an actual pretty close friend of mine. So my best friend Tom, like, we don't speak much, but like when we do, you end up just getting carried away by the conversation.
Yeah.
And Callum's was really natural, and that's like the plan, you know, complete natural conversation, like you were saying with turning up in a shirt. I mean, feel free. Like, if we do a season 2, turn up suited and booted, it might change the. But I think because it's all like a mental game. If you're wearing like your most relaxed clothing, you know, your shoes are off, you're like laying back on the bed and stuff, you're a bit more relaxed. Well, I'm trying to.
I do feel relaxed now, but I just thought it was fun. I got to my car outside my flat and was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And just went back upstairs and just tucked a hoodie on and was like, yeah, I'm fine. But then I didn't want to come too underdressed.
Oh, well, he's wearing a onesie.
I'm just wearing a onesie. I'm just chilling out. I haven't showered for a couple of days.
He's got some popcorn and a face mask.
A popcorn, a bag of Skittles, some dry leaves, just
some sage.
loads of noisy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of ASMR bits.
Well, that's the thing is I worry, like, and that's another thing with wear comfy clothing, because if you're wearing something that's like, you know, like a leather squeaky jacket.
Do you know what? I've only just, and it's criminal, but I've only just started relaxing not in the clothes I wear during the day.
As in, do you switch into like loungewear, or do you
like
switch?
Sometimes, and I know this is criminal, I watch TV and lounge about in my jeans. If I'm wearing jeans that day, it might get to the evening and I'll be wearing jeans. And apparently that's like. Well,
yeah, so yeah, no, it is.
Sorry, that's the most boring thing I've ever said.
No, but I'm in the exact same position. Well,
But just on the subject of like comfy clothing.
Yeah, well, my jeans are comfy. I wear them around the house. They are they're my Sunday. You know,
my Sunday jeans.
I almost have this unreasonable, like, hatred for people who wear like they have like a really fluffy dressing gown and fluffy lounge pants. You know, like Primark, like fluffy. I literally am.
You're not a fan?
Yeah, my nan bought me a pair a couple of years ago, and unless I wear it as like a liner to like my trousers when it's like really cold and I'm going out for like a early morning walk or something, I don't touch them, because you just feel. They're the kind of clothes you wear when you're ill, so then I start to feel ill if I wear them.
It's too relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't think people should be too relaxed. I think you should stay at that sweet spot of slightly on the edge.
Slightly concerned.
That's where I live my whole life. It's just slightly on.
Well, I wouldn't say like wearing like jeans, especially these jeans. Back in the day when I was wearing skinny jeans, you know, the spray on skinny stage.
God.
of course, as soon as I got home, I'd want to peel myself out of them. But now that like you getting into relaxed pairs of jeans, you know, they feel like they're the new wave of being comfortable.
Just no spray-on jeans.
Oh God, I mean,
Let's hope they stay in the past.
if I've seen, I still see the odd person like super ripped up spray-on jeans. I don't know where they get them from. What, like Zara, Burton's or something? I don't know.
Burton's.
God, is there still a
Top man.
Burton's in? Wasn't there a Burton's in Letchworth?
There was.
Amazing.
It was a big. Yeah, it was very popular.
Yeah, very down.
It was either Burton or Peacock's or Edinburgh Woolen Mill. So you could either dress like a 85-year-old man or go to Burton
and dress
and dress like a
Chicago's.
so an extra from the In-Betweeners or something.
Oh yeah, literally.
But it's like I don't know. It's just so funny because I remember being in school and like having like looser fitting jeans and being like, fuck, like
they
I
felt
just want to get
wide.
like, why can't I just find like the perfect skinny jean? And now like,
like
kind of looser. It's just. I don't know if this is what you want to talk about. But
no, this
let's
is perfect.
talk about jeans.
This is perfect content. Well, but literally, I turn up to sixth form back in the day in like what would be perfectly fitting chinos today, but back then I was like, these chinos are way too loose on me. You know, they feel frumpy. And like now I'm like, if they'd probably be on the tight side if I wore them now, like in terms of like conforming to current silhouette and trends, you know.
What did you say?
Silhouette. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, but
I get you. I get you.
H-Town rags find these.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Solid.
I'm trying to nab a nice Carhartt number. I'm kind of glad the weather's getting a bit colder because I want like a
You suit and a
just
Carhartt.
big
like,
Carhartt.
workwear with
Yeah.
Solid.
I'm going for it.
It looked very cool with the camera equipment as well. Like
Yeah,
you just look like a working man.
I kind of want to get just like the Carhartt logo or a Dickies logo. There's a lot of Dickies workwear that's kind of popular in
The industry.
the industry, which I know loads about. No, not at all. I need to be careful with how sarcastically I say things because I'm going to sound like a right.
I can put a sarcasm warning at the beginning of this episode. Trigger warning, sarcasm.
Trigger. Careful, guys. Bradley's out.
Unwarranted amounts of sarcasm in this episode. Ask your parents if you're
allowed to ask the bill payer's permission.
I've actually marked, I've marked every episode so far as explicit because like we swear and stuff. But I don't know if that counts as explicit in this day and age. Like, do they mean explicit as if like we start talking about like gore?
Or I guess you have to say explicit if you end up coming on to the topic of like, like in case you just came across something
dark
explicit.
You know? But like I guess it's back in like, you know, parental advisory. If someone said the F word, like is there one F word in the entire Harry Potter films, isn't there, or something? Because that's all that they were allowed. Because of
Harry Potter.
I'm pretty sure Ron Weasley said fuck like in one of the last 4 films. I'm so confident he did.
I can't think.
See, well, if I had a proper podcast, this is when we'd get a guy behind the screen.
Cut to, can
we
load
pull
up?
that up?
Yeah, pull up Ron Weasley saying fuck. And but you don't tell him what you want.
No.
He just has to find
Ron.
Just pull up Ron Weasley saying fuck, it's not hard.
Yeah, like
just get it up.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah, well, I think it's the same in the Marvel films as well. It's like they have like a certain amount they have like a quota of how many times they can say fuck.
Yeah.
And that I think is or the American like PG-13 rating is like you're allowed one shit or one
either
a fuck or a shit.
Is it bitch that I remember they say bitch quite a lot in like 2.5 Men or something?
Because like son of a bitch is like
pretty standardized.
Pretty standard.
Well, it's the same as like Northerners here. and I can't even. I instantly was gonna say the C word,
Yeah.
but it's like that's a big word.
That's I think it's become, people have started using it more loosely, definitely.
It's because of that film. Have you seen? Was it The Gentleman? They say it so much in that film. I'm like, we don't say it that much. Us British fellows.
You know, I watched half of that film
And then what, gave up?
and then just left. Yeah.
It's not. I don't blame you.
Me and my brother watched it, but we had seats quite close to the front, so we were kind of looking up. And I just thought, I think, because it's
Is this a Broadway theatre?
This is actually in Cineworld.
I'm trying to be local. I'm trying to get onto our local community theme here, you know, and you're ruining it.
I just fancied a big corporate Cineworld, but I thought it was going to be a great film, and I liked it, but I just didn't have the
wow.
Yeah, just wasn't. But yeah, I've heard that they say it a lot in that film. But I think it's become more, people in public use it more liberally. I feel now, I feel like I hear it more. But there is the occasion where I'll say it and I'll kind of see someone wince. Yeah, because if someone calls you it like in a jokey way, like if a mate calls you it, kind of,
it still stings a bit.
I don't know, kind of jovial, I guess. It's still like, oh,
it's kind of, yeah. It's like you can hide it behind a joke, but you did still say it.
Yeah. So, if someone's mad at you and they say it, that's
mate,
cutting.
That's like a month of your energy of just like, oh, you're thinking about that for a month.
Yeah. It's definitely. I think I'd be, if someone like if someone punched me in the face, I'd probably react more to being called the C word than I would that. I'd be like, okay, well, you just broke my nose, but you also call me the C word?
Did you just call me the C? I'm like,
dude, did you just call me the C word?
I've split my lip, but did you just call? How dare you?
How very dare you?
I mean, it's not even how dare you. It puts me in a bit of fear because they have the balls. You know, if anyone has the balls to call me the C word, I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. You know, I can't even turn around and retaliate at that point. They've already won.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they probably had good cause if they're calling me the C word.
I don't, not to my face anyway. No one's called me the C word that I can recall.
But behind your back.
Yeah, there's probably some little,
no.
some little batty crease somewhere.
Did you what were you think of talking about in terms of local? You were saying.
Well, I was trying to like. Did you see? I was like, oh yeah, like because we were talking about trousers and like, oh yeah, I got mine from H-Town Rags.
Rags. Oh, H-Town Rags in Hitchin.
Yeah, local community.
Well, let's just cut back.
The one. All right. Before we do though, I'm very much aware. I'm trying to think of background noise. I think there's a CD on my CD drive, so I'm just gonna pull it out. But I'm also gonna like ASMR it and like get the mic rack up next to it. But I think there's a CD in here. I don't know if that came up on the mic, but hopefully.
If you're listening, you've probably just tuned in to CD drive ASMR.
24-hour radio.
24-hour.
Do you mind? Sorry, do you mind? Just there's a. If you just lean over, there's a drawer. Can you open that drawer?
This one?
No, the furthest one to the left.
One?
Yeah, that's the boy. That's my negatives drawer. Just foggle it in there.
Am I just putting it in?
Yeah,
like that.
Or also shout out to local. That's a Kodak special. That has got my film developed at Kodak for the first time in like a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Itching.
I've just started sending my so a good friend of mine, Mr. Tom Butler, recommended a place in Birmingham to send you the rolls of film off, and the difference between getting it done in like a local around here, obviously it's great locally, but sending off like
Kodak's still a corporation, so you know.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But like I sent it off to this place in Birmingham, and the difference is absolutely mad. The detail that you get.
Yeah, that's the.
And you can scan stuff in, so it's like they do it quite low contrast, so you can really bring
can pop where you want to pop.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like with I have like bookmarked like 4 or 5 different film labs just because. So Kodak, like I think Kodak, they kind of almost ace the colors. But like I was talking to Rachel the other day. She, me and Rachel were tight, but a lot of people were scared of her. But I think she's a legend.
I am terrified.
Nah, she's great. But I popped in and I was like, right, this film might be fucked. And I'm like, just see what you can get out of it, And but I did get it back and I was like, oh yeah, like these are barely high def, the grain is high, and but the colours are decent because I was sending to a place up in Yorkshire for a while, but the only problem was I noticed that they keep sending it back super warm. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I'm shooting like Kodak 400 here. Like that should be like, I'm thinking more magentas and greens, but you're giving me like orange tones. Where are these tones coming from? Like I'm not shooting in like, like in a Mexican like movie where they just pump up the orange.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, if it's set in Mexico,
it's just,
you just crank the white balance up.
Yeah.
If it's like Russia or Poland, it's like
blue.
really cut blue. Yeah, blue. Yeah, I think some places like they just have like a standard setting and
like
they crank up like
right,
the gain, sharpness. They crank everything up, and then you're left with this like grainy, kind of weird, like kind of patchy photo.
Yeah.
But then if you send it off to a place that like a lab, I guess, you kind of get. It's mad what you get back.
Yeah.
And what you can get out of it.
Because they do you get yours back as TIFFs then? Your TIFF boy, or do you just big old JPEG?
For now, yeah. If I was doing something like editorial, or if I was doing like a job, I'd probably get TIFFs back. But I just get JPEGs.
I'm the other way around.
Oh,
If I do stuff for other people, I'm just like, fuck it, JPEG.
Yeah,
but if it's for me, I'm like, oh, I want to like get right in there and do.
Yeah, I voted because I've just been testing out because I bought a camera from this. I brought a Olympus OM10.
Classic. Literally.
I know. I felt really basic, but
I've got the Minolta version literally right there, and it's all right.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit. I don't know if I like it yet.
I had one back in the day, but it broke. But what was I saying? Took that. I've literally just lost my train of thought. This is awful. I was because I'm just so distracted by because I just noticed you got the light. You got a nice little lens there. What's that?
Oh, it's not a nice little lens. It's the standard kit lens for a Fuji X-T2. I think it's like 16
to 50.
Yeah,
it's lovely little lens. This is probably going to be your most boring podcast.
No, it's going to be most confusing because you'll forget what we're talking about. And
this is just what I do.
No, the annoying thing about that fucking lens though, the filter on it is stuck. There's like there's like grains of sand in it, and I can't open it. So I've just been thinking like maybe I should just fucking smash it.
Just whack it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll sort it out.
Yeah, we were talking about developing, and then I was saying how.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, sorry. I mean, hopefully, just cut.
Just cut.
Because a lot of that's waffle.
Cut all the waffle out, and we've got 5 minutes of recording. Actual topics.
So yeah. But I mean, I just picked up one of those OM10s and just testing out like different rolls of film and stuff just to see what they do. And originally, I just kind of get it back. Well, originally, I just was chucking it on auto and I just had no idea. But I've got this light meter app on my phone.
Yeah.
Called Lux or something like that.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you all the settings. So now everything is like perfectly exposed because I don't know, it's just like a mechanical thing, right? You just set it like the aperture to what you need. You set the shutter speed to what you need, and then you're flying. But that's what I think I prefer about. I know it sounds really pretentious, but that's why I love shooting on that camera.
Well, I'm this kind of weird middle ground where I only shoot in 2 ways, and that Minolta is the first time I've kind of tried to bridge the gap. So obviously I shoot 120, I shoot a lot of medium format, and that's like full mechanical.
The medium format stuff you do is insane.
Thank you.
The stuff you did of Hannon.
That was the last
Heads.
Jolly Brown shoot. I love that was like
beautiful. Well, she's like holding the lamp.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was my idea as well. She wasn't on the lamp. I was like, Hannah, we're using the lamp. Just let me use it because it looks good. We're shooting Portra 400, so that colour's going to look really good on my film. But that was the last shoot I did with my Bronica ETRS, which was like so fun to shoot with. And I miss the shutter sound so much to this day. It was just perfect, like, plink. Like, it was just perfect. It was so satisfying. But like, it was so mechanical where I'd have to reset the shutter and roll the film over separately.
Yeah.
So if you didn't roll the film over and you forgot, you would just be doing, you could do like a quad exposure by accident, which I have done. Like, you just shoot the same onto the same area of film over and over again. And then, yeah, obviously the rest is all like, you know, fully manual, like, mate, why am I struggling with this? Focal length, there we go. I was struggling with that so bad. Like f-stop and shutter speed, it's all completely mechanical. And I love that, and I could work with that. And then the other end of the scale is I'd buy like a shitty, literally like point shoot, completely full auto, 35mm. So it was literally like, I haven't got my current one here, but it was like a red Kodak Snap, I think it's called. And it's literally, you put the roll in, it winds, it's like, you put a roll in me, winds it all for me, click, 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 winds it back for me, and then boom.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I forgot to put my Apple Watch on silent.
That's it. I'm going to restart the entire podcast now. You actually looked at me concerned.
Can you imagine? Because that's happened so many times in interviews where I've like had the headphones in, or like I've had to film some people doing like pieces of camera, and then like I'm out of myself here, but like an alert will go off on my phone, and I normally keep my phone like either on me or in my bag, and so many times I've turned around and gone, guys, whose phone's on, knowing full well it's mine. Knowing full well that I'm the one that just ruined that take.
Fuck's sake.
And I'm just like, guys, come on, we can't, come on.
I can't keep doing this.
Guys, please, come on, let's get phones on silent.
Airplane mode, please,
Airplane
everybody.
mode, yeah, please. Just switch them off. You don't... Guys, just disconnect,
just
okay?
Keep them outside. Just don't bring them to set.
You don't need TikToks here.
Do you ever like, if you're like, have you ever been part of like a big studio team, like where you've been like sat in the background, like as a third seat assistant, and then your phone goes off, and you're like, everyone just turns to stare.
I was a runner for this BBC Two documentary thing for an episode, and I had to do some driving and drive to London, then to Cambridge and to London and stuff, and I was really pranging out about my phone and about I left every electronic device I could in the van.
Yeah.
Because I was with the whole crew.
Yeah.
If anyone needed me, and they had like producers and stuff for like internet access, so there was no reason to have it, and I could not even risk it. I haven't had something like that happen to me. I almost said like I'm gonna manifest it.
It's covered.
But I think I'd have to die.
You'd leave.
I'd have to.
You'd just quit and just.
I'd have to quit and just go and
be
live.
a barrister.
Yeah.
Shout out to completely disrespected barristers for no reason there. I'm sorry, guys.
Barrister? Oh, what?
Barista.
Barista. Oh, I thought you meant like a lawyer. Because I am definitely qualified for that.
Yeah. I love how like film's not for me, so I'm going to become a lawyer.
Film's not for that's an easy job.
Yeah. Anyone could be a lawyer.
Just go in. It's just like, I object. You can't handle the truth. I just summed
copy
it up.
do you watch Better Call Saul?
No.
Or Breaking Bad?
I remember my dad and I tried to watch it, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get into it.
Slow burn. It's a slow burn.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it says a lot about our kind of collective attention span at the moment, but I just couldn't.
It's not TikTok.
I think Bryan the only way I'm watching something is if it's
Like under 6 seconds.
under 6 seconds. I think Bryan Cranston is an amazing actor. I think he's great.
Unreal.
But I just couldn't. I kind of know what happened because like I've seen stuff and I've read stuff, but no, I haven't seen Better Call Saul. Sorry, I just completely hijacked that, point.
It's fine. It's fine. I think it's the running gag of my entire podcast is me being like, "Have you seen this?" and the guest being completely clueless. That just seems to be the thing. I even pick deliberately like common things because like the other thing. Have you seen Marriage Story? Because the lawyer scene and that's really good. But
one of my favourites.
Yeah, that was
which is it's not
Ray Loiter, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be you.
That could be me.
Yeah,
that could be me. He was great. Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. I mean, I can't.
Laura Dern.
I can't believe I said Ray Loiter before our beloved.
No, because
Laura
he's
Dern.
got a big personality in that film. But Laura Dern, that scene where she's talking about, the role of like women, I guess, and like motherhood and stuff. I think that's why she won she won
something.
Best Supporting Actress.
She must.
Won an Oscar
I mean,
for it.
literally, but that was the first thing I was thinking of when I watched it. I was like, God, the supporting for this film. I don't know. I love Adam Driver and I love Scarlett Johansson, but like the supporting was mental for that film.
Yeah, I think they did really well there. I think that's like, I think that when I watch a film and I kind of they've kind of nailed the supporting cast. That's when like Sicario.
Oh, don't even.
One of my favourite films.
How does he know? Literally, my friends are going to listen to this and think I planted you to say that because Sicario is like one of my favourite films of all time.
Well, it's because I'm like not low key at all. I'm very, very out and proud about it. I'm obsessed with Roger Deakins.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was literally the same here.
He released his podcast last lockdown.
I tried listening to it, but I kept falling asleep.
So when he first started, it was more about lighting and composition. But now he interviews. Oh my god, mate! He's got a podcast just about Sicario.
I need to fucking.
I can't
believe that. I need to listen to that. It's not.
But like the supporting cast there, because like, but even just the cast in it, but the little roles, and they cast them so well. It's just things. It's just things like that.
I don't know what I would even change. There's nothing I could even change in Sicario.
I wish I could go back to watching it for the first time. I know that's such a cliche, but
no, but that is
watching that film and feel it like that last the third the final act of the film.
For me it's the fucking border scene to a T.
Yeah.
My Sicario love story, I'll go through it now. We'll eventually talk about local community, but
no, I want to talk about Sicario.
No, okay, this is now Denis Villeneuve appreciation.
Have you seen the trailer for June?
Of course I've seen the trailer.
Do you know, I'm so gassed.
I'm sweating, but like before we get on the June simping.
sorry.
Back to the Sicario simping. So obviously, I watched, I think it's Cinema Sins or someone on YouTube did a breakdown of like, because I love like tense and scenes using threat and stuff like that. I love really intense scenes. So one of the things, like Good Time by the Safdie brothers, if you've seen that, that was like, that's my cup of tea. Anything that gives my anxiety an excuse to be anxious and actually has like a probable cause, I'm all for. Like when I was a kid, the first film made me realize I really liked like tense threat films was Cloverfield. But anyway, I was looking into like, what is like the most intense scene? Cinema Sins did the border scene by itself was like this is one of the best examples of like foreboding danger, intensity, being like a thriller without actually having any direct action. Like there's something crazy, like for the whole like 20-minute scene there's actually only like 6 seconds of like actual gunfire, but the whole scene is just like gut wrenching like intensity. But yeah, so I found the border scene and I was like, oh mate, I need to check this film out. And then like I spoke to a couple of my film geek friends and they were like, yeah, definitely watch it. And then I just I went on a completely legal website and searched up Sicario to get it, and the first one that came up was Sicario Day of the Soldado, which for me, being clueless, thought that was just the full name for the film, and there was only one, so I downloaded that,
two.
started watching it, and I was like, I don't get the hype, this is fucking dirt. And I was like, where is Emily Blunt? I thought Emily Blunt was in this film. My love.
She's not.
And so I got half an hour into that, I was like, this is, but then because of that, I then found Sicario, I think I watched it on Amazon Prime or something. And just so everyone knows that I obey the law and watch films properly. And
Yeah, I was going to say you.
yeah. Obviously. And basically I was watching, so now I'm watching actual Sicario with actual Denis Villeneuve, with actual, like even the opening scene, like, and just like I don't want to butcher his name, but is it Johan Johansson?
Johan, yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not with us anymore, but like his soundtrack and like just that boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
like, there's just that open, that kind of first sequence, you know, the house, and the reason why I love that film is it's a soundtrack, it's the cinematography, but it's like the choices they made when they made those films. So there's one scene where they get back from the bridge scene, and Josh Brolin and Emily Blunt's characters are having a conversation,
but it's
a super wide shot, and apparently they didn't cut to, they didn't do overs, they didn't cut to anything else, they just kept that, and I think they did it to kind of. I mean, there's loads of reasons. I mean, you can go and listen to the podcast about
definitely
the guy that made the film talks about it.
Yeah, let's actually transcript the entire podcast.
Yeah. I mean, Roger's here with us now.
Yeah,
nodding.
Roger, come on in.
Roger, come in.
Here's one.
Do I want a job? Oh, thanks. But it's like the little thing and what was I saying? See, someone mentioned Roger Deakins. I'm getting overexcited now. But it's just like the
you've
small,
actually changed position. You're like poised.
I'm now standing up.
You're on the ceiling.
Did someone mention Roger Deakins?
But so I mean, the break. I think to just throw my useless cinephile opinion, but I think the reason that they did do that scene because it's like. Arguments feel intense when you're watching them from a distance because the emotion is so strong. You don't need to be right next to it to get the emotion of like clearly Emily's fucking pissed that she's just had to like effectively commit war crimes on Mexican soil.
It was just such a good choice. It was just such a good choice. Like,
well, it makes me think of like one of my biggest comments is that feels like, you know, like I mean, I've never been to film school and never will go to. But I feel like there is probably a rule somewhere that Roger Deakins broke where you probably had to only have a certain amount of wide shots. You can't have too many because then the scale gets too big. But Sicario, he just goes to town. And I love that. Like every shot is this big swooping, establishing shot. I'm like, give me more. I don't actually want to see any actors in this film because it's like the wide shots are fucking unreal.
Yeah, the aerial stuff they got. It's mad, but that's the thing. It just goes to show that you can make, you know, you can make a film, and not kind of use all these kind of traditional like tropes and just these standard things. Yeah. You can I mean, The Revenant for one. You know, they shot that on like 14 mil, I want to say, lens, which is like super, you know, but
that makes
yeah, and they used kind of mostly, if not all, natural light, apart from one. I think when they're kind of around the campfire, I think they used a couple of lights there to kind of boost the fire.
Have you speaking of campfires, have you seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
I haven't.
So that film, I'll touch on it quickly just to not spoil it, but the thing that throws I was like, I just saw everyone raving on about it. Like, what was it, 2019 when it came out? And it might have been 2020 for us officially, but everyone was raving on like that. So that film, no soundtrack. Um, that there is maybe two scenes where there's more than three people in a shot. Um, there is barely any, like, they're almost all static shots, or they're like on a tripod. Like, there's no panning, there's no cut to close up, really, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Color grading, it's graded as if it was literally recorded on Portra 400. Like, the color grading is like washed out, not blown out to shit. And the sound, like, you hear every, like, I don't know how the film crew could have even been in the same room, because you can hear, like, you can hear the dust being kicked as they're walking across. Like, the sound is almost ASMR, like how good the sound is.
Oh wow.
But it's like super precise.
Yeah.
So you can hear like their mouths
little
moving,
thing, yeah.
and it's like, it's so. But I fell in love with that, and it's on top of that, it's a foreign film, so it's in French. But I'm still, so that's like, all of these things should be like, okay, this is how I can't get into the film, because they're like, you know, you need the music to immerse yourself, you need good colors to bring vibrant colors,
Yeah.
and you need it in, like, you know, your spoken language so you can get it all in. Didn't need any of that, and it still it's probably one of my favorite films of all time. Well, I mean, if you look at I don't know if you have a letterbox, but my letterbox favorites is Sicario, and then it's Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Wow. I'll have to give it a watch.
But that's really good.
Yeah. I like that. I think that the no music thing is because they did that for No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, which also does it unbelievably well.
But I think, it just goes to show that you can kind of make these kind of creatively brave choices.
I mean, all of my favorite films, I think, are like, another one is like Good Time. It's the whole thing is just like a chase. At no point do you have, like, it doesn't conform to the, like, climax, the happy time. Like, it's all just fucking like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and it just gets. And the same with Uncut Gems. Like, you're hoping the good thing happens, and it never happens. It's always just like, fuck. And
I felt that way about 1917.
yeah, so obviously 1917's just I mean, one banger. Our man Deacons again. Not a literal one shot,
No,
but I mean, the way it's shot, incredibly well done.
Yeah. But following that kind of, well, I mean, I won't say too much for people that haven't seen it, but the thing that happened,
Yeah.
that hit me, I think, more so because there were no cuts.
Yeah. And it's just and it is like, it wasn't even dramatized.
No.
Like, someone could have told me that actually happened. Like, that was like a snuff moment where, oh shit, it fucked up on set and that actually happened.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
stuff where I think when you're forced to watch stuff in real time and you can't look away, you know, because you can simulate, you know, like graphic violence, you can simulate mild violence.
Yeah.
By the way you kind of, you know, cut to things and stuff. But I think doing stuff like that, I think, is, you know, it's just really uncomfortable. I remember watching it in the cinema and kind of looking across the row and seeing a lot of people like creasing and cringing,
like,
because you're forced to watch it. You're forced to watch it.
Yeah, and it's not kind of like epic. We're literally dancing around what happens, and I'll be pissed off that anyone listening to this hasn't seen this film. But like, you know, there's normally like an epic dialogue between two people sharing that experience at that moment. But it's fear. It's two boys terrified, and a scene for me which I kind of like, because it still romanticizes war in a way, which is fine. Like, there's a time and place for it. It's not to the extremes of Saving Private Ryan, but it's not anti-war to the point that it's something like, you know, like Come and See or Full Metal Jacket. But I find it like that scene, it made me feel like I was watching like a space opera. The night window scene.
Yeah.
I was
With
just
the flares,
the
right?
flares and the soundtrack. I was like, this is like, this section is like a piece of art in itself, and I was just blown away.
And they mapped that out.
Yeah,
They built like a scale model to
I know.
like track.
I trawled through the behind the scenes for this film
yeah.
because I was so curious. And there was like, first time I watched it, I came out of the cinema and I was like, I still like Dunkirk more.
Oh,
And I
yeah?
can't believe I thought that. The second time I watched it, I like ugly cried in the cinema. I ugly cried so hard, and like it was so, I don't know, I just had the proper emotional reaction. I remember like I had to be like, right, you guys meet me outside. I'm just gonna watch the credits and just weep.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard when you watch those films because the only thing, and I kind of spoke to other like film camera dudes, but
Man
I
with
almost
camera.
said filmmakers, but I hate I hate, I don't want to sound like I spoke
Cameramans.
to other cinematographers,
Cameramandem.
but a lot of the time you're watching for like, okay, where's the cut? There's the cut. There it is. Saw it. Yep. Okay, next one. It's hard to watch it as like I mean, sorry, I say that like only camera people are watching it, but when because they advertise it as, it's shot like one long take. That's obviously what you're going in for. But when you watch it a second time and you're kind of over that whole,
Wow.
okay, yeah, they've cut it, in a way.
You cut it here. You cut it like the river scene. They cut it. Obviously, when Matey Boy gets plonked on the head, they cut it. There's like a clear tree cut at one point. And you get it. And props to them. Like, you need to be able to do that.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But it's another great example of what we were talking about earlier, like supporting cast.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Scott, Benedict Cumberbatch,
Mate.
Colin Firth.
Well, I made the observation: the more famous the actor, the higher their rank. It didn't matter how long they were on screen for.
Yeah.
But because obviously we had the big boy general Colin Firth.
Yeah.
British icon of cinema. But then we had the other general,
Mark Strong as well.
Mark Strong was so good. Andrew Scott, I loved his scene. It was like, yeah, if you're gonna die, throw the flare back, would you?
Yeah, I love his voice.
Yeah,
him in Fleabag.
I've only seen snippets. Fleabag's been something I've avoided for a long time. I don't know why I'm not watching it, but
Why?
I don't know because
it's so good.
I mean, 1917 already breaks it for me, but Andrew Scott has always been Moriarty for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I think they fucked the end of Sherlock. I don't know. I think
I can't remember what happened. Oh, what, in the prison?
Yeah, and with
his daughter.
his sister.
What's his daughter called? Urine.
Or was it daughter? I don't know.
Urine Holmes.
Yeah, there's another Holmes, and I'm like, this is all right.
Yeah,
I was into it for a minute, but now
I feel like that's a big kind of trope. There's a big kind of thing at the moment where you're like, oh, by the way, this thing happened. They're doing it a lot in Marvel films.
Oh, for sure.
Where it's like, oh, when you were watching Iron Man, actually, there's another superhero being born, and his name is Mr.
Superhero.
Mr. Super Guy.
Mr. Super.
He's got the power to do whatever they need to solve that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
And that's kind of what they did in Sherlock. They were like, oh, by the way, the only thing I thought...
There's a crazier Holmes.
Yeah.
And it's a woman, everyone. How crazy is that?
Hold on to your socks, guys.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean... The idea of like cramming in an extra person. I think the way they did it with Watson's therapist, because I think they hit spoiler alert for anyone that's going to watch it, but they kind of hid her, right?
Yeah.
But that was for like one season.
And she had that the complete character change where all of a sudden it's like, is this the same person?
Yeah, I mean, you literally made a man kill himself, but now you're playing a violin with your brother. Happy ending. Oh God, families, right?
Family.
Classic.
Another day at the office. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna quickly simp Marvel. You can't excuse Marvel, I think, because it's obviously they have a backlog of comics that take I like it literally. Like I know the biggest example was Captain Marvel. It was literally like, right, who is powerful, and like, because social justice, we need more women. So who's a powerful woman who has been in the Avengers at some point in the comics? Can we just bring into the universe?
Mm.
And they just pick Captain Marvel. And the good thing is, I mean, I say good thing. I mean, I really enjoyed the film Captain Marvel, but good thing is she wasn't like the main deal in like Endgame. She wasn't the person who was like, yeah, I'm gonna come and fix everything, which I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
Because if she did, then it would be like, oh, okay, so the really powerful person who we've only seen for one film takes the glory when we've been watching all these other characters develop for like 6 films now, and now they're all gonna just be like, thank you, Captain Marvel, you saved us.
You saved the day.
Yeah.
I think they kind of did Brie Larson a bit dirty in terms of like how quickly everything happened, because I think they were originally supposed to add her in to like the end of it, Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
They had someone in, and I feel like that would have just built her a little bit more of like a here's who she is. But it kind of felt like they were like, okay, guys, Brie Larson's here, and Captain Marvel, she's gonna glow, and her suit's really cool, and now she's flying in. From
I
the
think
sky.
like I really thought Nick Fury getting out the pager thing was really cool, but
Oh yeah, I love that.
why didn't we see the pager at any time before this? We should have seen the pager earlier, at least when.
Yeah, just have like a shot of it or something.
Because he did it in what have we? Yeah, no, yeah. Was it Black Widow? I can't remember. One of the new films that's come out, he does get the page. That's the only other time like he gets the pager out, and he's like, "Do we need the pager?"
Have you been watching What If?
Yeah,
Because I think
yeah.
there's a reference to it there.
Yeah, that might.
I think
have
there's
been
one
it.
episode where he like has.
It was
pager.
when the assassination episode when all the Avengers members get assassinated.
I do think I do think she's a really good character, and I did like the film. Like, if you were to lift it out of the Marvel universe, I thought it was.
I had a wild,
I thought it was cool.
euphoric moment for that with that film. I'm not sure what it was, but it was that there was this crazy scene where the filmmaking went from being like, this is a Marvel film, to like, I thought I was watching some like A24. You know when they're in the field, and it's when the Skrulls are like, no, we're the oppressed,
Yeah.
and it goes handheld, and it gets
Yeah.
really, and you saw all these handheld close shots, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I'm here, I'm in with these people. This is not a superhero movie. This is real life.
Yeah.
And I had like a proper moment.
It's like there was like a turning point, I think, for stuff like that. Mainly Winter Soldier.
Oh, for sure.
Winter Soldier, one of, like probably the best
It's the best
Marvel film.
Like
Because
without obviously, like in terms of like an opera of like a symphony of everything coming together, the Infinity Wars, both like those films are fucking great. But as a standalone,
Yeah, a cinema experience. Endgame. I don't think I never. I remember
no.
watching the midnight showing at Broadway.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah,
we were
I think
there.
we waved at one point.
I did.
Pretty sure
I
we
think I saw you wave, but I just ignored you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Fuck off, man. I'm here to.
Fuck
I'm
off.
here to watch Iron Man. But I remember yeah, you get it. Like the atmosphere when Cap gets
Yeah, when
the
he
hammer and
and then the snap.
yeah, everything about it. And I think that like as a cinema experience, I think that film was the best. But Winter Soldier, I think, still holds up as like
Like out of
very because
the
it's just
universe.
like it's not.
it's a spy thriller.
Yeah, that's
more
the
or
thing.
less.
It's not like a.
I thought I was watching like it felt like a Bourne film.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like Man from
Better,
Uncle,
no
maybe,
offense to
or
Bourne.
like and just just like Sebastian Stan in that was
Iconic.
really great film. But it just goes to show that like you can kind of do those films and not make it all about like, okay, let's just
This is a
make
superhero film.
90% of it CGI.
I think that's all they're trying to do. Like, I think with the Marvel universe, like as much as Marvin Scorsese is quaking in his boots, or his catheter, or whatever he's doing these days, like barely alive. But like, no offense, like, but they are breaking the mold and like this, how witty and ridiculous Ant-Man was. I loved. It was just crazy, like the stupid level of comedy. I was like, this is great, and Paul Rudd did carry that.
Paul
film.
Rudd in that is
But like this is why I really want to be excited for Eternals, because it's a Chloe Zhao film.
Tell me you're not excited for Eternals.
I want it to be good, but I'm worried it won't
I cannot wait. I think it's really different, and I think that's what's good about it.
Well, so far, I'm assuming, have you seen the two so far?
The two trailers.
Sorry, the two, as in like since this phase. So have you seen Black Widow and Shang-Chi?
I haven't watched Shang-Chi yet.
Shang-Chi's good. I've
heard really good things.
Yeah, it's the Black Panther of like Asian culture. So it's really insightful in that way, and I really like that.
Yeah. I think I wanted to watch Black Widow first, because I guess they're not in. I thought they were in chronological order.
No, so I mean, literally,
I don't know when Shang-Chi is set. But
you can watch both of them as standalones, and just the only things that it's the after credit scenes.
Yeah, I can't wait. Apparently, it's amazing. Apparently, it's great.
What, Eternals or Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's really cool. It's definitely a Marvel film. That's what I'm gonna say. But yeah, because obviously, have you seen Nomadland with Chloe Zhao? So I would watch that before Eternals,
I know.
for you to understand at least why I'm excited for it. Because like as a director, this is probably one of the most ambitious off the cuff like directorial choices they've made, and they're just sitting in the shadow of like, because obviously Spider-Man 3 is going to be a fucking like probably one of
the trailer
that's going to be more ambitious than Endgame. So obviously Eternals is sitting there being like, guys, we're going to come out, we have to cast a Game of Thrones, and
that's the thing. And I hope Eternals doesn't try to just outdo. Like what I loved about the trailer is that like it felt like they're doing something different. Like that shot of what's his name? James Madden.
Yeah.
There's a shot of them.
Rob Stark.
There's a shot. Rob Stark. There's a shot of There's a shot of them. They're in this like porch of this like barn or something, and they're chatting about something. But even just the way that is shot.
Yeah.
Just these little things.
Well, even from the trailer, it's a Zoe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Chloe Zhao.
And I just love like the design of like the really thin gold kind of almost kind of these like abstract. I just think it looks really different, really like it's not trying to, it's like the next phase.
Yeah.
It's not trying
definitely.
to piggyback off of the success of like
exactly.
the last 10 years.
Because obviously, I think a lot of they rode the nostalgia train quite a bit with
for sure.
Like, you know, Captain Marvel being in like the 80s and like all of those like near that ending, and then how just retro feeling the Guardians of the Galaxy films were getting. It all felt like very much there was, and then obviously with Ragnarok being almost like a fucking arcade game, like, that was wild.
That's like Taika Waititi too. He did a great job with that.
One of the best like breakout directors recently for sure. His stuff's insane.
Have you watched Jojo Rabbit?
I haven't yet. I just like, I was like, why do I want to watch a film about Nazis? But then I kind of do get it because it's TT, but I'm really fussy with picking films to watch at the moment. I'm supposed to be watching Clockwork Orange tonight, and I just can't bother because I've never seen it. But I'm like, I know it's a lot. Like, just speaking of like Nazis.
I remember I went away on a trip to Germany with my school in the music department. I think it was like the creative departments, right? So it was like dance, music, acting, all of this, and like I was in. So there was like a dorm with like 7 people, or like 8, how many? Yeah, I want to say like 8 or 9 of us. There's loads of us in there, and I was with the guys in the year above, and they were like these cool artists, like all really cool. And I was like, yeah, this is my moment. I'm gonna like break in. I'm gonna like break in with this crowd, and they were like, guys, we're gonna put Clockwork Orange on, and I was like, yeah, man, I love cinema. Put it on. No idea what it was. And then literally just like sat like in my bunk bed. They'd put it on like this little table so we could all watch it, and it was just like the most surreal experience. Cause
I had same experience, but like times 1,000 with like I've been really trying to break out of the Western cinema. So I've been dabbling
Yeah.
in. So I watched a couple Tarkovsky films.
Oh, nice.
Some films out of Korea, some films
Yeah.
out of China. And one that's always been on my watch list for ages was a film called Come and See, which I can't remember the
Oh, that's
director's
the
name.
war film, right?
It's a war film.
Yeah, I've
And I was
heard
like,
stuff
oh
about
yeah,
that.
like war film's cool. Read the synopsis. Oh, freedom fighters. This could be interesting. And like a bunch of my mates were like, and I was streaming it on Discord, and we all just sat there, and I was like, oh yeah, let's watch this war film. I'm trying to watch more war films. Honestly,
No.
oh, it's devastating. I don't ever want to watch it again.
What about it is, without going into too much detail, what about it is so horrifying?
So I mean, I can't remember, and this is just me not being a history person at all, but I think it's Belarusian area. But
Yeah.
basically, it's when the what we forget happened, but the Germans were just coming in and just raping and pillaging towns, like on and on. But there's these like local Russian freedom fighters, and there's this little boy who he's like very part of a very poor family. And he finds a gun, he finds a dead body in the sand and takes the gun off it and is like, oh yeah, this is my gun, I think. He goes and joins the freedom fighters, and then he comes back to his town, and there's this harrowing scene where he meets like this girl who's like a lot older than him, and she's kind of this weird like love interest, older sister, mother figure, all wrapped into one. And it's filmed as if it's kind of through his eyes, but it's not. So like when he's like in like manic moments, the film distorts and it gets really like psychedelic at times. But he loses the freedom fighter group, I think, and him and this girl try to go back to the town, and he's walking around, the town's empty, and it's like, oh, they've gone to the lake, the island on the lake, to seek refuge. And so he's like starting to walk there, and the shot pans round, and there's just like a pile of bodies behind one of the houses.
That's what I've seen.
And I'm just like, that was the first time I was like, okay, fucking hell, this film's like doesn't mess about. And the last scene is so horrendous that I'm not even going to talk about it. But I'm pretty sure they kill an actual cow in this film as well. I don't know how.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, there's this scene with a cow where a cow gets fucking battered by a gun, like just gets blasted to pieces. And I'm like, there's no way that the way it drops and falls, I'm like, there's no way that was
just
anything else apart from legit, because this is like a 70s film.
I think there was something about like they could only do it if it was going to be used for something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like I read something where they said that you can, because it's being used either to cook with or something.
Yeah.
What you're technically doing is a documentary. I mean,
documentary
I do not condone actually killing animals
Don't
for
kill
films,
an animal
but there is a weird way that they got around it.
And maybe it's a Russian rule and not like, but yeah, it's like, I remember we finished watching it, the credits rolled, and all of us in the group chat just didn't even say anything. We were just like, all right, I'm going to bed.
It's another one of those I want to watch, but I'm also a bit terrified.
I mean, it's probably one of the best films I've seen ever,
Oh, really?
but I'm absolutely 100% okay with never watching it again. And I'm waiting to like do a proper episode where we're actually supposed to talk about film for the whole podcast, and I'll go into detail probably about that film and a couple others.
Yeah,
but
I feel bad that we've kind of
don't,
derailed this, because I know we were going to talk about
the
like
derailment's fine. Well, what I
stuff.
was like, I found a tangent opportunity, which is like, so obviously we'll circle back to the broad the experience of the midnight showing. Do you think that Broadway are somewhat credited to that? Because I fucking love having like a local independent cinema. I think it's the best thing ever. Like that we don't go to an Odeon or like a Cineworld to just watch films. Like I love like the whole vibe of Broadway. And I always wonder, because were you there for the Force Awakens midnight showing, Star Wars?
So I used to work there.
Yeah.
I used to work there, and a friend of mine organised this like brass band
Yeah, well, that's what I was going
to
to
come
say.
and play, and we managed to get them in. And again, that was it. We had everyone in. I think they put the house lights up just because obviously you go to Cineworld, you're just there, you're just like in the dark, ready. It's quite a solo experience, but just going in there, you've got everyone there. Everyone's like really excited for it.
Yeah.
And then the second day, no one filmed it because everyone was just so excited to be there.
Yeah.
But the moment they started playing, they played. Obviously they played like the main Star Wars theme,
Yeah.
and like the whole place just erupted.
It was great. No, I was one
You were
one of
there?
the erupters.
Oh,
I
mate.
loved it, man. Like, it was so good. I can't remember. Did they play any Christmas? In my head, they played a Christmas.
Yeah, they
song
played
as well.
they played some Christmas tracks.
Yeah.
Christmas tracks. Yeah, they played
Christmas
some
bangers.
Bublé.
Some Christmas heaters.
Yeah, they played Christmas
So like
stuff.
literally a combination, and then they did obviously the Star Wars intro. I literally was like, this is it. This is like, you won't get that's, and I'm hoping if there's ever another Avengers film that uses the original Avengers theme, that it would be so good if they could do that again, but with the Avengers
Yeah.
soundtrack. Like, that's the
You're
only
missing a trick
other-
if you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, but midnight showings at Broadway seem to just be hit on a special level that
Yeah.
none others do. Even just like waiting outside the cinema because it looks cool. It's like, that Art Deco.
It does feel really special to live somewhere that has that, because I live quite close to it. Yeah, so
your window.
I won't say how.
Yeah, don't get doxed.
I won't say how.
You live above the library.
Yeah. But it does feel like really special to be able to go and have that, and it still be in its almost kind of original form. Obviously, the building's been updated and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's still kind of keeping that.
I don't think is it true Art Deco as well in terms of
Yeah,
like,
true
era
Art Deco.
accurate?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
that's mad.
from 1920. So it used to be, if I'm not mistaken, it used to be one giant theatre. So screens one, so you got screen 2 and 3 downstairs, and then screen 1. So screen 1 was almost the balcony,
No way.
and then
That's
screen
sick.
2. So it used to be this giant, and it's nuts. And then it's nuts that it was ever that, and then they kind of split it up into its original screen. Screen 4, the smallest one, is obviously like the newest.
Yeah, that was like what, 2015, 2016.
Yeah, they
like,
did that. I think shortly after because I started working there in like 2014, and they just built that.
And that's so good for like the children's viewings, the autism viewings.
Yeah, that's
it's
the thing.
really,
Yeah,
it's such a good little screen for that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
it is a really nice screen to watch stuff on.
Yeah, I
because
watched
you-
another round recently on that screen,
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it's nice to have it all a little bit more enclosed. It's a lot smaller than
Yeah.
the others.
because each screen kind of has its own purpose. Like screen 1 is obviously great for like the big midnight showings, and
Yeah,
you got the big lights on, you can see everything. Whereas screen 4 is great for like just watching like little,
Indie
or
numbers.
if you just want to watch
Yeah.
something by yourself. I remember when I first started, I'd go and watch a film before my shift. I think I started at 4:30, and there was a showing because we'd always start kind of in time for like the films to come out.
Yeah.
And I'd go and see a film before my shift, and just like sitting in that screen, or just kind of, I mean, I think going to cinema by yourself is like a really underrated experience.
Oh,
I think more people are doing it, but I do say it to a lot of people, and they kind of, it's like an alien experience. But I really would push people to go.
Yeah, I think doing a lot. It's the same with eating by yourself. I know I've
Mm.
never gone. I don't think I've ever gone to cinema by myself, but I'm going to shout her.
Good for you.
Good for me. I have friends, fucking losers. But I shout her out again because she loves it. But my friend Beth, she watches a lot of films solo. Like, she travels into London and will go and watch a film by herself in London.
Oh, no way.
And I'm like, geez, that's the vibe, man. Like,
Yeah.
I could never.
Go on, Beth.
Like, I wanna watch something abroad, especially in that little screen. But unfortunately, all my friends just want to spend time with me. So if I
Oh,
go,
that must be
then
really horrible.
someone
I hate
wants
it
to
when my phone won't stop ringing.
I hate it when I've got 20 notifications every morning to check. But no, I've eaten by myself just whilst I've been at work, and it's been really nice. Like on my lunch break, like just finding like a little cafe and just being like, and it feels a bit like, for me at least, I just go full main character syndrome. I'm like, everyone's looking at me. I'm so cool.
I love
by
this.
myself.
I love the whole main character thing
Oh, it's.
because it just reaffirms.
I love it when it's me. When it's other people,
Because
I'm like,
because that's the thing. Like,
don't have your main character moment. Fuck off.
I mean, I still have I still have periods where I'm like, so like I care so much. Well, I mean, I always care what other people think, but like I love the idea of like this whole main character thing, and that like everyone is just
Things.
focusing on themselves.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's the it's like it's almost an advanced version of this, like the simulation philosophy, that you're actually in a simulation and everyone around here is adapted, which is a very sociopathic way to think. So if you do think that intensely, it might not be main character syndrome. You might actually need to see someone. But
Sometimes I feel like we are in a simulation. What was it? There are things that just happen. Like I can't think of anything. Well, I can't think of anything now.
Well, it's the same thing, like, you know, when, and we're going down a whole different route again, which is great, but you know when you wake up in the night and you see like my example, I'm pointing this way because it's always my fucking dressing gown. Like I wake up in the night and I'll see my dressing gown, I'll be like,
is that a dressing gown or is that a coat?
That's your hoodie, but my dressing gown's normally there.
Oh, I thought. Sorry, you can't see it, but there's and listeners at home, you can't see it either. But there's a really nice like winter jacket, and I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I mean that
like,
one as well.
It's like the bougiest.
that corner in general is just like, I've never had sleep paralysis, but like I feel like if I did, it would be in that.
That's
corner.
where it'd be.
But like for that same reason that you're thinking of that, I think it's the same reason that, like, not even with simulation, but like how stuff just happens uncannily. Like you can't write this, you know, in terms of, because you're thinking in the mindset of like films, but you're also thinking, and so your brain's just waiting for something to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when a simulation moment happens, it's always like, of course that happened, you know, because I'm living in a simulation, but you've been waiting for that moment.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, you know, the whole simulation thing, I doubt that like a simulation glitching would be like, oh, I've, do you know what I mean? Like,
The same dude's just walked past my house twice.
You know, all my manifestations are coming true. Wow.
Yeah. Like, if this was a simulation, like, when's the next fucking firmware update? Because it's shit.
Yeah, and also, why would you make this as a simulation?
This is fucking boring.
I can't fly. Well, who the fuck would want to live this out?
Like, oh, this is a simulation, so I'm going to spend all my time in my simulation doing podcasts.
I do get a little bit Truman Show paranoid.
Oh, mate. But I do like the philosophy behind, like, one of my favorite quotes is always going to be, you accept the reality with which you are presented.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Which I always think about when it comes to, and we're not going to get political, but in terms of like how these like theologies, these ideologies exist, like you just, like how we're born and we just accept capitalism. We're like, yeah, this is how life works. And people just will never understand that you can think outside of that. Or it's like, we just accept that there's a class system, or we just accept that there's anything, you know, that you can't, you accept limitations off the book because you're just brought up. And I think that's like kind of what Truman Show tries to tell you with that, at least specifically with the overseer and his manifestation, because he's supposed to be kind of this godlike representation of everything in the world that you just... there's a Frank Ocean lyric as well. Living in another man's idea or something like that, which I always find bonkers to think about. Like, there's nothing here in this room that is me, you know. We're wearing clothes that designed by other people. We're in a house built by another person. And I find that really interesting to think about. And those are the thoughts I have when you start thinking about like living in a simulation. And I pick those references so candidly as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's Frank Ocean.
Oh yeah, I just constantly have Frank Ocean lyrics in my head. I mean, like, I think that's what, because I watched the Truman Show. We watched it in English in school, and I
I
never.
thought
Really,
you meant as in like. I was like, well, it is an English
I
film.
watched it in English, and then I watched it in every other language there is.
Don't joke, because I've actually, if you ever want to watch a good film, the German version of Garfield is better than the original
Oh,
version.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wo ist mein Lasagna?
There's literally a quote from the film.
Yeah, of course it is. I love German Garfield. But yeah, I don't. Truman Show didn't really resonate too much with me. But then I think watching it later in life, I think it's interesting what you're saying about like limited, like what you think is limiting. Obviously, like big picture, like political, stuff as well. But I also think in your own brain, I think it's scary how you can almost.
Nice one, Mum.
That's. It's almost scary how you can believe, not to deep it too much, but like how you can believe a thing, and it will stop you from doing something.
Yeah. I mean,
And you'll then realise later, oh, like nothing was I was in my own way.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Which is maybe why I love that film now, because it just goes to show.
Literally.
Stop being a fucking idiot, Bradley.
Stop being a fucking... Yeah, I mean, just to touch on a little bit of deepness recently, but definitely one of my biggest thoughts with this transitional period of my life is that like my only limitations stopping me from doing the next thing that I want to do is literally just my own thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to be, no one's chopped your legs off, no one's blinded you. You're completely able to do what you could do. So that's like a whole thing in itself. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how you can pull so many things like that from cinema and film.
Yeah. One of my favourite films is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
See,
Have you ever watched it?
Yeah.
Not because I think it's like, the most like cinematic film in the world. I love the soundtrack. I love the grade on it, but I just find it quite
Profound.
motivating. Well, yeah, motivating because
is a better word.
motivating because of, I guess, the story of it, but also because of like one of the main characters, Sean Penn. Sean Penn?
Is Sean Penn in that film? Yeah, he's the photographer.
Yeah. But
And
I love.
are you talking about the scene where
the whole film?
I know, because the only scene I remember is when he's
don't-
like, I don't take the picture sometimes.
Yeah, is that quite? Yeah, that's what bugs me.
It's a bit floppy.
Beautiful things don't ask for attention. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do.
I will respect. Yeah, I will respect that you like that film, but for
I felt-
reasons like that, I can't.
It's more the daydream stuff,
Yeah.
and it's more like the idea that you can literally daydream yourself into another reality
Yeah.
without even being consciously aware of the fact that you're doing that. And it's dangerous how much you can. Yeah.
Or you ever have those? You ever get into a film so much that when you finish watching it, you manifest kind of the way that film is into your life. I'm trying to think of a good example, but there was something I watched. A good example: Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I watched
Great
Ferris
film.
Bueller's Day Off for the first time, and every time I have watched it, and all of a sudden, I am like, for like a good week after, I can just do stuff because I've got that like Ferris Bueller mentality of like, who fucking cares if like I get caught, or if like, and there was another one. Phantom Thread. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Actually, the film itself is like a romance, but the way the film romanticizes kind of the way the fashion industry works and how it's like super kind of like cushy, kind of definitely particular and intense, but in a way that I kind of was like, yeah, I like that. And for a while I just manifested that kind of energy, and I was like, yeah, now I am I am in a Paul Thomas Anderson film, and no one can stop me.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way about Her.
Oh yeah,
Joaquin
that's
Phoenix.
another fucking good
Because
example.
I kind of, whenever I watch that film, I kind of come away like wanting to be a bit more of a I want to say recluse, but like just kind of keep to myself a bit more and kind of just like go out into the woods and like get a cabin and kind of just see what see.
Funny enough,
you know.
I had that, but from Mindhunter. No, not Mindhunter, Manhunt Unabomber.
Did you? Okay, let's have a chat after this.
This I think
Great series, by the way. Great series.
unreal good series.
Paul
Sorry, but
Bettany
you were
could
saying
make a film about baked beans, and I would watch
Paul Bettany could
every
just
episode.
his voice.
He could punch me in the face.
I
and I'd
want him on
thank
my
him for it.
podcast so bad, and he doesn't even have to say anything. He just has to kind of like just talk.
Just recite the alphabet for me.
What like when he played Drunk Vision in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. But no, I do want to carry on talking about Her because that was a film that really. First time I watched Her, I was fucking depressed. For like, I mean, I was already in a very bad mental place, and I was like, yeah, I'll check out Her. It's got like soft tones. This might make me feel cozy. And then you just have to you got to get ready for this.
Yeah, I need to get comfy.
Yeah. For anyone not watching it, because this isn't being filmed.
For anyone not watching on the camera we didn't set up. Guys, my jeans rode up.
No, you just did a quick hit workout.
I just did a quick hit. I just did a quick 5K. Just did a quick
some
5K.
burpees
Yeah,
on my floor.
burpees.
That's like there's no room to do burpees. But
You've got a foam roller for me as well.
yeah, that's ready.
You got my rider.
Physio.
I want a foam roller and some tap water, please.
But yeah.
Yeah, Her.
I was in a bad place when I first watched it, but I
sorry
was
to hear
so bummed out after watching that film. And annoyingly, it's because I was in the same situation. I mean, not as in terms of I fell in love with my computer.
You were in love with the robot.
But like, God, the moment when she just so casually is like, yeah, I'm seeing other people, the robot, which makes sense. I was like, oh, I've been there. And it was horrible. But the film in general, like that ending and like just Joaquin Phoenix.
I think the reason why I love it is because it's just like a full. It just feels like his journey
Loops.
completes.
Yeah.
You know, it starts with him looking for that, like, to fill that hole.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it ends with him on the roof with
Amy Adams' character.
And just like the message of it, I guess, but also the everything. I know it's set in like the near future. I don't know how far into the future.
Yeah, well, it's this weird. It's set in like a near alternative future where
present,
everything's really soft.
But it's just so like the. I love how tactile everything is.
Yeah.
You know, the phone is this little notebook.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, and like the fashion references and stuff were really well. Like the fashion was this crazy combination between kind of like almost like, is it Marxist fashion when everyone looks the same? But then at the same time, it's got this really kind of almost Wes Anderson. Soft.
There's like a functionality to it. There's like a the way everything's designed. But
and it's like it's very clearly in like a Far Eastern like city for me anyway.
Yeah,
when I watched it, I'm like, this looks like downtown like Seoul or something.
Yeah, I think they filmed it in.
And it just gives this crazy energy.
They put mirrors on the roof of one of the skyscrapers. Did you know that?
No way.
So there's to get the sunlight into his apartment, they put mirrors on top of a skyscraper opposite the building to reflect sunlight into.
That's unreal.
Because it's I think Hoyte van Hoytema.
Is that the
cinematographer who did who works with
he did
our man Nolan.
Did he do As Astra as well?
He did Dunkirk and Tenet and Interstellar, and he did Her. but they basically bounced sunlight into the apartment.
That's great.
Which is nuts.
So nuts.
So not only is there like there's a great message to it, and there's the story of it is great, but just like the way it has been made as
Very
a film,
particular.
It's
Do you know
brilliant.
something's even more nuts? The director Spike Jonze. He used to do skate videos.
Did he?
Yeah, like my first Spike Jonze was actually I don't know if Fully Flared was Spike Jonze, but it's basically just skate video edits, and they're like literally like just your classic like what you'd expect a skate video to be. They're not really very cinematic. There's some crazy stuff in them. I can't remember. Pretty Sweet, I think it is, and that, or it might be or So What or something. But there's like an opening scene where he like edits out the skateboards, so everyone's just it's like skating like blank, like they're doing stuff, but the skateboard's not there. But no, so I found it really bonkers because I just was like, because I finished Her, and I was like, what other films has this guy done? And I just saw like a bunch of skate films I watched when I was like 13, and I was like, it's the same director.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Have you seen his that Apple ad that he did?
No.
He did this like HomePod ad, and they use this like Anderson Paak track, and he directed this like. It's nuts how they did it, but the idea is that like she's pushing like the set away.
Oh
and
no!
they split it. Yeah, you've probably seen it.
This one. Yeah, I know the one now.
I think he directed that, and just like again like absolutely nuts.
He's a prime example of someone who was like hyper talented in their previous like scene and just was able to explode out of it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be on my phone. I'm just So Her and Lost in Translation are like to be watched together because Spike Jonze and Sophia
they bonked, didn't they?
Coppola. Yeah, well they were going through a divorce. So so Sophia Coppola did Lost in Translation. They had bonked, yeah. Sophia did Lost in Translation, Spike Jonze did Her, and apparently the film.
What's Sophia's second name again?
Sophia Coppola.
Is it?
I think it's
that is not Francis Coppola's daughter, is it?
It is, yeah.
No way.
She was in. She had. Have you seen her in Godfather 3?
I haven't seen. I've only seen Godfather 1.
Oh, you bastard!
I started watching Godfather 2. Fun story. I started watching Godfather 2 thinking I won't need the subtitles, but like the first half an hour is all in like cryptic Sicilian.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what anyone's doing.
Okay.
So I'm about to sneeze, but I do need to. I do need to watch that.
Sneeze break. But so the idea is that the films are their own interpretations of the divorce they went through. I went on for so long explaining that,
mate. But I'm glad that's a really good story. And
it's just nuts how things. Just nuts how things like go in tandem. Yeah, and kind of
entwine. It's almost like we're living a simulation.
It's almost like someone coded that.
It's almost like Spike Jonze is writing my life.
I mean, if he wants to write my life, for sure.
Yeah, if any director could write your life, who would it be?
Either.
I love that. That's the longest pause we've had on the podcast to this date.
Or Wes Anderson. Nolan, because I feel like he'd just do some really fucked up time shit.
Yeah, Nolan would be at the bottom of my list. I don't want whatever he'll do.
I just want him to invert my life.
Yeah. I think Wes Anderson's a good choice.
I mean, that's like classic, isn't it? Because everyone wants the aesthetic.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to think of I can't remember. I like him for The Beach, but he also did.
Who are we talking? Anderson.
28 Days Later. Who's the director? 28 Days Later.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
It's not. He's got a similar name to the comedian. Is it Frankie Boyle was the comedian? What's his name? All right,
Frank, but I think it's.
Or is it Frankie Boyle? All right.
What did they do before the internet? We just wouldn't be able to ask that question.
We couldn't be able to exist.
No.
Uh,
You're going to have to get
Danny
some music.
Boyle.
Danny Boyle.
See, I wasn't far off. Frankie Boyle's the comedian. Danny Boyle's the director. But to be honest, this is probably actually more because I like Alex Garland, which directed Ex Machina, but he wrote The Beach.
What a fucking film that was.
But yeah,
every time someone mentions Ex Machina, I forget how nuts it is.
It's bonkers.
It's absolutely bonkers.
That was one of the early films that I was like, yeah, cinema is something that I'm gonna start sweating.
Yeah.
That and Her, both of those I watched within probably 2 weeks of each other when I was depressed to drop out.
That is
a mood.
The worst films you could watch.
Yeah.
When you were depressed dropout.
Yeah. I mean, at least I didn't watch a film I watched recently where I was like, I'm good. I'm happy that I'm in a better headspace because that film probably would have fucked me up. It's Adrian Brody, plays a teacher.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean.
Oh,
I don't know the name, but I know.
Messed up. Like a girl kills herself in front of the class. He saves some washed up prostitute from getting raped on a bus, and then she has an attachment to him, and he's like, no, this is father daughter, and she's like, no, you need to fuck me because I need the validation. And it's this crazy but yeah, that was a tough watch. But yeah, in other news, I did have so we spoke briefly on the Community side of things, but I did have I'm very curious. It's the only job that I've seen you do that I've been like, that was yeah. I mean, talk about Lapland, Porsche, complete absolute change. But because I know you did some stuff.
Wait, what?
Did you do some stuff with Porsche and Lapland, or am I going crazy?
I did.
So I want we're going completely, but I just because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, ooh, this is something.
How long have you been
definitely
talking?
Want to talk about hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah. So
I feel like we didn't talk about anything we planned on talking about.
Well, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
That's the point of the podcast.
Welcome, guys. We're 6 episodes in and we're still figuring out the premise.
We're still figuring it out, guys. We're human. Well, I'm a guest. I can do what I want.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
You can throw the mic out of the window.
Guys, that was sarcasm. You should have
Sarcasm
received
warning,
an alert.
sarcasm warning. Trigger warning, guys. Sarcasm just happened. Apologies to watchers who aren't.
Shout out to the camera we didn't set up.
But yeah, I remember just seeing random pictures on your Insta story of you in Lapland, and Hannah was like, yeah. I was like, oh, so you went from doing a little shoot with Jolly Browns and now you're with Porsche.
I managed to get myself a job at a production company.
Was that a big finesse moment?
That was probably because I was doing my own stuff on the side of working hospitality jobs, and then I kind of applied for this junior camera operator role, and then got it.
Yeah,
just nuts.
Getting things is
just
nuts.
crazy. That was my dream job, and I remember I was closing down the coffee shop that I was working in, and I got a phone call, and then was just
what coffee shop? Groundworks.
Stylus Lounge.
Stylus.
It's no longer Stylus. It's now Cafe Luna.
Yeah, you were in that one over there.
That one over there.
No way.
Yeah. So I worked there for a couple of months, and literally got the phone call as I was shutting up shop, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you're in," and then got that job, and then they did a lot of stuff with automotive industry.
Yeah.
So they did stuff for Formula One and Porsche, and they had good connections with those guys. And Porsche do this ICE experience where people / journalists / super rich famous people can go and test out the cars on the ice, because the idea is that
it's like a frozen lake.
Yeah. So it's basically this tundra in Finland, which is just all ice, and then they kind of carve out these So there's one bit where there's like a giant ring, and they set up lights around the edge. There's like tracks and stuff that they've carved out, and the idea is that you're to take the car to its limits to show that it can, withstand any terrain. So we went out. We were then on the ice experience, so we were covering the whole event. So there were like waves of us going out. So I went out in January for a bit, for I think maybe a week or a bit, or just under a week, and then myself and another camera operator went out and lived there for like 2 weeks. Stayed in this like amazing, chateau. Yeah, it was like a 5-bedroom place in like the most picturesque place. Like I'd wake up and look out my window and the snow was perfectly falling in the trees, and like it was nuts. And then we got to go and work with Porsche and stuff, and they're absolutely insane to travel, to like get your dream job and then also get to travel for it. But
is that your first time something like that had happened?
That was like my first overseas like name brand, household name brand.
That's crazy.
And like going to like these, I can't remember what it was, like Catilla or something like that. It was this small tiny little village. Like I remember we arrived and it was dark because you've only got like 3 hours of daylight there. So we arrived at maybe like 7 p.m. and it was pitch black, and we were driving through. All you could see was the light from the headlights. And I remember scrolling out on my maps on my phone, and just like you're just in the arse end of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. But it's nuts. It's insane. And like anyone that gets the opportunity to go to that part of the world should do it.
I
spend any money you have on it, because it is the most beautiful. Saw the Northern Lights.
Yeah, Nordic Europe slept on. So
honestly, it's like you can see stuff. You can watch a video of like a travel vlog, I guess, or whatever, of like other people. Like
I was watching your story and I was like, crazy.
You are so welcome.
Gave me strength.
But we got to see the Northern Lights. And that was
Aurora,
like
Borealis.
you could see why back in hundreds of thousands of years ago, why people thought there were gods.
Yeah.
Because because that's like a natural phenomenon. I don't know why I'm pointing at your bedroom ceiling.
Yeah, I can see it now actually.
Because we've got it here, ladies and gentlemen, the Aurora Borealis. Come on down.
We've got a guest room out back. It's just Roger Deakins and Aurora Borealis.
Roger Deakins and Aurora Borealis.
Talking about simulations.
Yeah. No, that's a simulation I'd like to be in.
That's fucking literally Aurora Borealis is bucket level shit for me, man. I know pictures, they overexpose them and they're bright, but even then I can imagine in person they're trippy as fuck.
It was just like people were like gods made of
is
this.
Is it like a snapshot moment, or are they like consistent throughout the night? And it's just
so we turned up. So there's this like kind of local app that people use to like track where they're going, and myself and this guy Aaron, we were at the top. We were at the top of this mountain, like waiting. Literally just like waiting in the freezing cold. Cameras set up on tripods. You couldn't do it handheld because it's you do like a long exposure thing because it's so dark.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening. Didn't get it. So we said, okay, we'll go and sit in the car. And then there was this like wispy green, like this milky green streak across the sky, and we were just like sat in the car. And this guy knocked on the window and he was like, "Are you here for Aurora Borealis?" And we were like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "You mean that?" And I was like,
fucking
"Oh
idiot.
my god!" He was like, "It's here.
Get off your phone."
Yeah. So we basically climbed this small mountain. Not obviously not a small mountain, but like this. I want to say it was probably about 4 or 5 windmill hills.
Nice.
Like it was, we ran to the top of it.
Your measurement choice. That's so funny.
Because I was thinking like, oh, was it that tour? But I want to say it was probably doing
Wait, 4 or 5 windmill hills. That's probably 400 or 500 meters.
Okay, I don't know why I didn't just say meters.
It's all right.
So it was like 400 or 500 meters. You can cut to me saying that, by the way.
Cut out the.
And
People hate the metric system that bad.
yeah, yeah. There's this meme where it's like this American news show, and it's like a crater the size of 4 to 5 washing machines. Americans will literally use any other system.
That was my reference.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I got you. Oh. But and then we just climbed to the top, and then it literally exploded into the sky, and you're just sat there. I remember I kind of went just to lay on the ground and just watch this insane. Like you can watch videos and stuff, but like it was just like otherworldly.
Yeah, I can imagine it's like, like you said, like godlike.
Makes you feel
small,
so small. I remember leaving that night and just going like, nothing matters.
Nothing fucking
like what, like, because you watch something like that, and it was like, I'm so glad I got to see it. Obviously it's very sad because I got made redundant because of COVID, so lost out on those experiences. But what?
Sorry, I don't know. It was just a really funny turnaround. Like, just like, it was so special.
No,
obviously very sad because of COVID happened.
Obviously very sad because I lost my job. No, but
I lost my job. Loads of people died, but like,
sorry. I'm actually creasing so much I said that I'm cringing at myself now.
No, don't. It's just me finding that way funnier than
in my head. It was because I tend to look back on, with a lot of sadness because like of everything that happened.
Was it before? Was it?
It was just before. So we got back. So we were at the airport because Helsinki airport, because you fly to Helsinki and then you fly out to Finland. Yeah. But Helsinki airport is like...
Shout out to Helsinki.
Shout out to Helsinki. Those guys have like... It looks like the International Space Station.
Yeah, I've heard mental stuff about
it's crazy.
That airport.
But it's the stopover point for Asia. So like if you're flying to Asia, you stop there and then go.
Very high traffic then.
Yeah. So
especially... So what, you're coming back in March then?
So we came back in like... I want to say February. Yeah, because we had a... Yeah, I think we still had about a month left of
March
normal work life.
Like,
so yeah, March. It was around March time. But I remember being at the airport and seeing like occasionally like coronavirus
related
mask
stuff. Yeah,
and it was like, and we were both like thinking like, oh yeah, sure. It's coming this way, isn't it? Kind of joking about it. And then it was like, we came back and then within a month, it was like off.
Oh, sorry. I remember I was in the Lake District when like a couple of weeks before lockdown happened, and we were just joking like, oh, let's get stuck in the Lake District for when lockdown so we can just spend like a month in this YHA, and it would have been so cool. But then obviously a month turned into a year and a half of confusion. But
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, that's I've done a good job of avoiding COVID talk.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I went to Finland and it was great.
I went to Finland.
That's the longest.
And then
the longest waffle.
No, I lost my job.
Just want to make that.
But I do like. I've realised because Aurora Borealis is on my bucket list, and a lot of Aurora Borealis, a lot of my bucket list things are things that I think will make me feel really small. Like, and because knowing when you've affirmed that like you felt tiny, and now I'm like, yes, because that's what I like. Like I want to feel tiny. I don't know if that's a fetish, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to kink shame you. That's fine.
Don't kink shame me, but I want to see the Aurora Borealis.
But I think it sounds so pretentious, and it will make a lot of people like roll their eyes. But there is just no other way to describe it. Like when you're watching something like that, and it's closer than you think because it's so massive. Yeah. It feels like it's really close, but just the way the light was moving, because it moves in like in kind of vertical lines, right? Yeah. So when you're watching it from below, it's like it's just really weird the way it moves. Yeah. But it's moving like it's CGI. Yeah, it's moving like it's magic. So you can see why people back in the day used to think that gods and stuff existed, because this every now and again it'd be like,
bonkers.
Mate, have you seen that? And it'll be like this giant green, but it's like green, purple, pink. It's like,
when did we actually figure out what the fuck was going on? Like, surely it must have been up until what? relative. I don't
Probably
wanna say
space exploration, because I think you can see there.
Yeah,
Where,
you
like-
can see it's like a big round.
Yeah.
ringy
But it's just absolutely nuts. Like, imagine just like, oh, we've just discovered what fire is. Have you seen that fucking great big green thing in the sky?
that green fucking thing there.
Yeah.
I don't want dinner anymore.
I don't know.
That's put me right off this dead rat.
I didn't pray tonight. Do you think that's what it is?
Fuck. God, just kneel down and maybe it'll leave us alone.
Yeah, just talk to it. But yeah, one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Yeah. But
Seconded only by this podcast.
seconded only by this podcast. Closely followed by
It's gone.
seeing your big Range Rover in the flesh.
Oh, the Daihatsu.
That was a good. Have you still got it?
That was tiny. No, I sold it. No,
Was it a Range Rover? I don't know.
No, it wasn't a Range Rover.
Okay, great.
It was tiny. It was. I don't know where you got Range Rover. It was like.
I just remember it being this big.
It was a 4-seater. It was like a Jimny size.
I don't know cars, so.
It's a Daihatsu Sport Track ELXi.
Oh,
It's,
classic.
yeah,
was about
everyone's
to say that.
favorite car.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called until a friend reminded me, because I made an event on Facebook a couple of years ago, being like, it was stand around my Daihatsu Sport Track ELXi in Tesco's car park, and like 30 people turned up, and we
Nice.
would just stand around. I was like, "Yep, that's a car," and then we went home. But yeah, like, that was a special. That's my special moment. That
Yeah.
car, that was great. But no, I'm boring. I say boring. I'm in a BMW now. It's just like practical and sensible.
Practical, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
an estate, so I'm like a dad.
I really want to get a nicer car, but
I'm not gonna lie, you don't feel like a car guy.
I'm
Like in
just
terms
not.
of owning a car.
I'm
I
just
just assumed
not.
that you just like didn't have one.
I have a car?
Yeah, I just assumed that you were just one of those like.
I'll have you know, I have a Toyota Yaris.
I know,
but I
same car as my sister's Toyota.
I would
Yaris.
love like an Audi or a BMW or something like.
Bim.
But I just don't. I don't like. It gets me to be. I'd like something for my kit.
Yeah.
Because I recently did a job where I was like driving up and down the UK and stuff.
Well,
it was
that's
a
that's
nightmare
the reason.
getting
'cause
everything.
I drove the Daihatsu to Lake District and back once,
Yeah.
and like I thought I was gonna die. Like I
Really?
shattered my pelvis, just not literally, as in
Oh.
like it felt like I fucked my lower back and pelvis just by sitting in
Yeah.
that for like, and going all the way up to Lake District with 4 dudes in a 4-seater car with
Oh,
no
God.
space for all our stuff. So all our stuff was like crammed in nooks and crannies in the car. So I got the BMW because the Daihatsu would sit at like 75 tops,
Yeah.
and it would sound like it's dying on a motorway. So like I was like, right, what car can I get that's like relatively economical? I can sit comfortably at like 80, 90 on the motorway and get decent MPG still, and
I know what that is.
nice
But for our listeners that don't, what is it?
miles per gallon.
Of course it is. You're welcome, guys.
You're welcome, everyone. Yeah, sorry, trigger warning. We talk about miles per gallon in this episode. But yeah, and then it's an estate, so I can, if I've slept in it a couple times now, which I'm quite a lanky fella, so
I was going to say, how do you?
it was tough. You got to be diagonal, like to just about fit.
Speaking of diagonal, I had to do that last night. I was camping at this wedding that I filmed, and I borrowed a tent off my parents, forgetting that it was a tent that I took to Reading and Leeds 10 years ago.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm going to out myself because I never really tell anyone. I'm 28 years old.
Oh, that's not okay.
I'm a big old man.
That's exact. I mean, to be fair, knowing Ralph now, that does like
Yeah, Ralph's old.
Ralph's an old,
No,
old fucking. He's a wrinkler, mate.
I don't. Do you know what? I used to have a really big complex about my age, but now I find that the later parts of my 20s have been the best years. So
I'm
now
hoping.
Now I don't. How old are you?
So I'm sticking it out. I'm 24.
Yeah, you got. Yeah. Also, it feels like everyone I meet is 24. Everyone I speak to is 24. I
Mate,
don't know.
I've gone now. I'm at fucking uni. Everyone's young, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I do. Like, I do feel like, because I downloaded TikTok, ironically.
Oh my god.
And
I don't
now,
think
like,
you're actually
there's-
allowed to own TikTok above the age of 19.
No, I know it's tragic, but there's just stuff on there that I found was so funny, and I was so sick of being sent stuff and having to look at it on the web.
That's the,
So I was like, well, I may as well get that app.
just
And
before
then at
someone
least.
beats me up. That's the reason.
But
I
now
have it.
there's all these like, just moved into my uni halls, haven't met my
Yeah.
flatmates yet, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck, I can't be,
Well,
I can't relate.
we're getting into the area where like there's like young people lingo, and I use some of it, and that's when like you can hear with the podcast of me and Callum. I have to be like, right, I can't say.
That was so, yeah.
I can't say certain things around Callum because Callum's like 42 at this point. So he's struggling.
But he doesn't need to, because he's cool enough. He doesn't need to know what it is. Callum, you don't need to know.
No, you're cool in your own special way.
Yeah,
babe.
you're fine, mate.
Just keep up the good work.
Psych. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's all this like lingo. I mean, I don't. Not that I want to know what it is, but
FOMO.
yeah. But it does. It does make me feel a bit weird when there's like. It makes me feel weird that there are like accomplished people that are around the age of like 19 to 23.
Oh, stop. Yeah.
It's nuts that there are like 20 when I was 22, because I moved back because I kind of dropped out of uni. I did like a hard reset of my life.
Mood.
Big mood. Did it like a control or delete and came back when I was like 22, maybe, and I had no clue what I was doing. I meet 22-year-olds now and they're like,
Sorted.
sort like in the job they want to do, earning good money,
Yeah,
doing whatever, and I just think, no, you're a child, you're a kid.
yeah, make mistakes.
Pipe
you
down.
prick.
I think there is such a big pressure, I think, to like have everything done by 25. Like,
There's all these, mate. I've learned more recently than ever, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this podcast is because everyone's just like living at different speeds, and like
yeah,
I've got friends who like I'm now in like my cousin's a year younger than me, and him and his girlfriend have just bought a house, and I've gone back to fucking education, and it's like this is crazy. I can't hold a relationship for more than a minute, and he's been with this
Amen,
girl
brother.
for 7 years, and
yeah.
everyone just seems to have figured it out, and I respect my friends who can do that, but
But then but what you just said there, everyone seems to have figured it out. No one has. I think that's the biggest thing. It's so easy to think.
or yeah,
I do get it when I have to film weddings, and I think like I sat at this table and it was like people around my age, and I had this couple next to me telling me that they really wanted to buy this £2,000 fridge that when you knock on it, it lights up on the inside. I had these guys on the left of me talking about like their favorite kind of IPAs and like what kind of ISA they might get or something, and I was just like, do you know what I mean? I barely have like.
Ugh.
I forgot to like unpack my HelloFresh order, so now I've got moldy food everywhere. Like,
yeah.
that was like the worst example. But yeah, what is a tax?
What did they do?
But like, I
A
don't
gym membership.
I don't think it matters, and I think that's the thing that's what I hate about TikTok. Can be hilarious, but I also fucking hate it because it's giving everyone the idea that everyone's life is perfect every second of the day.
Yeah, my sister,
And it's
she's
just
pretty,
not.
Yeah, my sister's pretty viral on it. I mean, I don't know what classes as viral on
Is she?
TikTok, but she gets good numbers from my. I'm just like I know like YouTube numbers.
Yeah.
She gets like good YouTube numbers on TikTok, which I don't know if that's good or not, but she does like, so when we go to Lake District, she'll do like little TikToks of like, here's me, and she gets like fucking roasted and abused because people think that she's like rich and has it figured
What the
out,
fuck?
and it's like we're in like, yeah, I mean, we're privileged, I'm gonna take that on the chin, but like we're not like, she's like, oh, you're just like a middle class Tory. I'm like, middle class, I don't really at this point of the class, but like we're in this opportunity where like my grandparents are fucking solid. They book this big house for us to go to up north, and it's cheap, and the house is like good. Like it's a really nice house, but it's not like, you know, we're not doing fucking Kardashians on a ranch kind of vibe. It's like, it's still like just a standard house. Like I'm not trying to humble myself and sound like a,
No, you
like,
don't need to.
but it's, yeah, it's just really funny to me that there are still people who are like from different walks of life can't fathom other walks of life. Like I'm sitting here panicking that I'm like, my friends are buying like nice cars and you know, living the dream, and their family are like owns like fucking hedge funds and they're just rolling in money. But then I'm sitting here being like, oh god, like but then there's someone else roasting my sister because we're staying in a farmhouse in the middle of the Lake District for like a week every year, and they're like
People just want to, people just want to comment.
yeah, and people,
Even
yeah,
though it's not.
I don't know why everyone would ever. If I reacted to my criticism, I'd be fucking exhausted at this point. Let's be honest, man. Like like you mentioned before the podcast episode, I have this addiction to just taking outfit pictures over and over again, and I used to blur my face because I used to post them on like anonymous image boards back in the day. And when it's an anonymous image board, I just get roasted. You just get fucking annihilated, and I was just used to it.
Yeah.
So like, if anyone ever, and I don't know if that's a good thing now, but like if anyone is ever like just like anything from like kill yourself to like you're hideous or like stop existing, I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks, mate. I don't like.
Why would you say why?
Bong.
Really?
You know, like fucking Captain Marvel. I am. Like,
That's good
bounces
though.
off
That's
me.
good.
I can't like. I just not.
People say like mild stuff to me, and I think about it for 3 weeks.
Well, there's and I use this talking to a friend of mine, and so I have to go by it now, which is like people are gonna judge you either way, so just do what you want. So I've always just lived by that quote, so that if anyone ever critiques me, I'm just like,
You're always going to be you're always going to be the villain somewhere, aren't you?
100%. And like you were
But not
saying
even.
earlier about caring a lot, quick Childish Gambino quote. He says, I used to care a lot, now I care more, which I always think is like a really cool line, because it's like, I used to care, but I stopped caring. But it's like, you never actually stop caring, you just know what to care about.
Yeah.
You know, you quantify it and be like, okay, I care about certain things.
You just relocate it. You don't get rid of it. You just relocate where you're putting that energy. Which is it? Yeah, I think it's just nuts that there are people on the internet that do that and will make those comments. But I think it is what you're saying about they don't understand what's going on. There was a point where when I say when I was freelancing, I'm freelancing now, but I was like really burnt out and I was having a really, really rough time and like
I remember
crying a lot and like.
Well, not as in like because I was watching you cry. But
You were watching because you were there because I invited you around.
yeah.
Do you want to come watch me have a breakdown?
Tissue, actually, I had tissues.
This was like maybe a month ago, and I got a message of someone. I got a voice note, and they were like, "Bradley, you are doing amazing. Your I can tell by your Instagram that your life is amazing." And I was like, "I've just spent the last 4 days crying my fucking eyes out."
Yeah.
But because of what you saw on the internet, and it goes back to like what you're saying about your sister. Like, people just see what they think they're seeing. Like, people think they know what they're seeing.
We accept the reality with which we are
That's
presented.
it. It's come full circle. That's it. That's the podcast. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching.
But
Froze the mic.
that's about guitar solo. But that's the point. That's the whole thing. Is like you can like and I don't think people of a younger generation quite realize how like doctored everything is, right? So we know because we kind of grew up in that between like so like between 24 and 28
doctored as we were growing up.
we knew that the internet was just this like rose glasses like it's you can make anything look sick on the internet, you know, whereas now people are like
Take that as gospel.
they take it as gospel, they take it as oak because it's like like everyone looks like that in the morning, like this guy that has like sick abs and like on a yacht every day. Do you know what I mean? Like his life is amazing, and they don't realize that he's probably done like the nastiest shit that morning or something. Do you know what I mean? Or like he's like run out of money or something.
He's like. He's like just off the coast of India. He's got Delhi belly right now. He's shitting himself.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's like, but people don't realize it, and that's the danger there. That the danger is that you can't see that actually none of this is real. None of it is real.
Well, it's the thing. I've similar thing to you. So I had like I'm having a very, very interesting arc at the moment this year with a lot of stuff going on, but like it hit me a couple months ago in the same capacity that it may have hit you. And I remember like, because like my Instagram shock horror, like I'm uploading content that I took pictures of like a year ago, you know, like none of the shit, like people just think I'm like always out and about, but like I'm not. Like this is stuff that like I've uploaded that, like, you know, that Jolly Brown shoot, I did that fucking like a year ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
And like before that, like I'm like I'm backlogged, so when I do have these dark patches, I still have a little bit of content that I can keep consistent. But like, it's and I've had like luckily friends pop up and just be like, sometimes you need that person that would be like, hey man, you're doing really well, like, this is crazy, and then like that's really cool. But yeah, I think it's just such a weird world where like, because I went really personal with a post on Instagram to help cope with this shit that I was going through. So I made like a big post on Insta and I was like, oh mate, fucking nothing's what it seems. I've been through it, you know, and like, and it's pure waffle that everyone's going through at the moment anyway. Like it's just coming to light now. That's the thing. Like people are actually okay with the idea of being like, it's not all tinted rose, at least for our age, and hopefully generations to come will realize like, take your goggles off, you know, and just be true to like just fucking be honest with like shit. And
like no one is thinking about like and it's something that I'm saying this as if I'm like I've cured myself, you know, but
you're a prophet.
I'm a prophet because I've done it. I'm mentally sound. No, but like no one's thinking about you as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
So like,
and if they are, that's on them, not on you.
Oh God, yeah. And you don't have to put this like this person that's like, I don't know. I found this fucking girl on TikTok, and it was like, I'm just gonna go get. I just start every single day with my oat flat white. And then I do some meditation, and then I like to read, and then, you know, I do some work, and then I do some ab crunches, and then and it's like, no, you don't. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't. Like,
and
who's got the fucking time?
And even if you do, just keep it to yourself. Or at least,
but even if you don't, it's not the end of the world. We are not built to constantly be on. Well, I mean, we were going to talk about hobbies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the whole thing about hobbies. Like now, every hobby you have has to be something you can capitalize on.
Well, that's the thing. Like, because
a hobby just can't be a hobby.
Like, yeah. Well, it's the exact same thing I'm going through at the moment with when people ask you to do jobs recently, and annoyingly, it's friends, which is the worst.
What sort of jobs?
Just photography, filming, stuff like that. So it's like a friend. Like, I had a friend message me quite recently, and I've had a couple people message me quite recently I haven't spoken to in ages, but like I had a mate who she popped up and she was like, yeah, I need some stuff doing for a brand that I've got. And I'm like, I mean, I do have like a rate, but I've like, I don't know, I just have this crazy thing where I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm quite happy keeping this a hobby. I don't ever want to look at my camera and that's a tool.
Yeah.
Camera for me, like I know you're beyond that, and you're getting big cash money for filming stuff, which is like good. Well,
fat stack.
Fat fucking.
Not at all.
He turned up in a Rolls Royce actually.
I'm wearing gold shoes.
Yeah. But no, it's like because it's like, oh yeah, we need digital shots, and already you're losing me. I'm like, I like shooting film, and if I can't do that, then we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And like, Hannah, like I'll always like doing anything for Jolly Brown. I just love because me and Hannah, like I feel like she gives me the creative freedom. So I'm always like, if Hannah's like, I've got a job, I'm like,
I mean,
it's done.
Yeah.
But like with other people, I'm just like, whoa, I don't know if unless you know exactly what I'm wanting to do, because I want that freedom to literally be anything. Yeah, and same thing. I've got a fucking. I don't know if I want to do it, and luckily this guy, I feel like we're on the same wavelength with it. But I'm filming a music video for potentially in a couple of weeks. I'll get him on the podcast actually, so I won't name him. But yeah, this will be an interesting thing, because if this does happen, if I can bridge that gap of like, let myself just actually do a job for someone and kind of like monetize it a little bit. But he wants a cool video done because I'm trying to shoot more with like old cameras and shit, just finding like at the moment,
point and shoots and VHS stuff.
Yeah, like Sony side. Like I've got a Sony Handycam, Cybershot, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm trying not to overrun. We've spoken a lot already, but
oh god, what time are we on now?
we just hit 2 hours.
Oh my god!
And it
We
flies.
talked because I waffled on so much about Sakai.
Well, there was this. No, it wasn't. There's always like an arc with these podcasts, man, where like I literally like around about an hour and a half. That's when I can probably end it.
Yeah.
But then we end up like.
I remember
then we
you
just
said
started
that on Callum's. Yeah.
But then I was like, yo, let's start talking about Aurora Borealis for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you start talking about hobbies, and it's just but anything I'm going to say now is pure waffle. But season 2 next year. Well, this winter, I'm limiting the way I've done it now. I've decided, so I'll do like a season, and every like guest is unique. But if we have a podcast where it's like this one, where it's like we've missed everything we were actually going to talk about. Let's come back and actually try and talk about.
Because I was thinking on the way over here, like about what we were going to talk about, and I kind of came in ready to like go in on that. But then when we didn't talk about that, it made me it was way easier to just kind of relax. So yeah,
because it's never doctored, and I want to get Callum back on. My friend Amelia, she had a really good episode. I want to get her back on, and most definitely we've spoken a lot, so we could probably do this all again.
This is a vibe. So if you want me back, I'll come back. But whoever is still listening to this now,
whoever's made it 2 hours of
why are you so obsessed with me?
Two camera guys talking about simulations.
Thank you for still being here.
Yeah, to filmmakers.
Couple of filmmakers.
Couple of amateur film videographers.
Thanks so much for listening to our podcast today. If you'd like to catch our next episode on wide-angle lenses and our favourite kind of Rode mics,
and
you can catch that on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Matt. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, please.
I
committed a bit too hard to that bit.
Well, season 2, I'll get you in as
season 2. I'm coming back, baby.
But then you can also be crew. You can film it. Season 2,
I think so. I think you should film it.
I'd like to, but we'll actually have to do maybe a set. Or I don't know if you heard in my last episode, I was talking to Shane about possibly doing picking random places around town to film episodes.
This is so funny you said that, because when you first started doing this, I was like, that idea. Yeah, I had that idea.
Yeah.
For you, I wanted to come to you with it, but I thought, no, I'm not gonna.
We actually just
I'm not gonna hijack this guy's idea, but I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Finding a place. He's a really cool guy.
Which one? This one?
Shane.
Oh yeah, no, Shane's
really cool guy.
Really, really. When it comes to meeting someone and all of a sudden just being
basing on the last episode.
Know his deal.
Yeah.
But,
right, mate. If we don't end this, I will keep talking.
Yeah, literally. I was. Thank you for
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun.
It's been so good, and maybe
it actually has, because it's actually really nice to just shoot the shit.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was just mic test, so I'm gonna actually start recording.
Okay, check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can start now, mate. We can.
So, what's your name? But yeah.
How do you end them?
Literally don't. Like, I probably, in the edit, I've probably cut all this out.
You've cut all this out now.
No, it just fades out, and we go from
That was
there.
a good one when we
Yeah.
were laughing there. That was good.
That was great. That was lovely. Oh.